All right, Wheels, let's get right into it. Watching the Phillies over the past couple of months has not always been fun. Since the All-Star break alone, both the Dodgers and Brewers, the other division leaders, are 8 games over 500. Meanwhile, the Phillies, 11 and 18 since the break, are 7 games under. Now, one of the key issues, and there are several, by the way, is the bullpen. What has happened to the pen, and especially that certain left-hander,
Yeah,
Jose?
yeah, he had a tough game last night.
Oh,
That's
man.
he walked the bases loaded and then walk in a run. Yeah, bullpens are volatile. I saw where Sir Anthony threw a walk off to the Mets again today.
Yep, yep.
2 out of the last 3 days. So he was one of our guys that he couldn't keep the ball in the ballpark. And Soto was another one. And now all of a sudden you don't bring anybody out of there. Estevez, you hope will be a closer, but you can't bring anybody out of there now that put them down 1, 2, 3. So right when you think you're good or that you're set, and look, when it gets in a guy, it gets between a guy's ears. There's nothing like baseball to make you nuts. So I don't know. They every time they think that they have him straightened out, you have what happened last night. He can't throw it in the ocean. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Well, Wills, do you take a guy in that situation and maybe send him to Lehigh Valley, let him pitch every couple days for an inning, find the strike zone with the idea that, hey, in 2 weeks we're bringing you back. Go
They
down
did
there,
that to him.
fix it.
They did that to him one other time, Bill. I think it was
Yeah, yeah,
last year,
and it
and
worked.
and it worked. Look, this guy has shown that he can get people out in the major leagues. Guys don't like to hit off him. But one thing I've noticed, not only the walks, but he doesn't get the swing and misses right now. Now, is he tipping? Is he tipping something? Is there something they can find? He had really, really done a better job with his cut fastball to go along with as hard as he throws. So, he's a quality relief pitcher who's done it in the major leagues, but those guys are strange. They come and they go, and sometimes they'll have a season and then a bad season. Sometimes they'll have a half season for you. They need him, especially since Soto flamed out. So they needed another power left-hander in that bullpen, and he's not the guy right now.
The new sometimes closer, Carlos Estevez, is a bit scary to watch too sometimes. Seems like his pitches find a lot of bats, and many of them are hit pretty hard. Do you have faith in Estevez?
Well, I haven't seen that much of him, but I see the same thing that you're talking about, Chet. First of all, he's elevated. The ball, he throws up in the strike zone. You throw up in the strike zone, you better have some pretty good gas to get it by somebody. So he's not a guy that's going to come in and throw ground ball double play and those kind of things. Yeah, they've made contact on him way too much for a closer. You don't. That's the whole thing. We fight ourselves in baseball because we want more action, and yet every team wants the last 3 innings to have 9 strikeouts. You don't want contact. For a while there with him and with Hoffman, Alvarez, those kind of guys, they were in a whole lot of contact. But now there is a lot of contact. So I don't know. From what I've been told about him, he has a makeup to do it. He's done it before, but our ballpark is not a good ballpark to be a fly ball pitcher.
Yeah. Over on the other side of the ball, the offensive side, a bunch of guys in the skid at the same time, and it's produced a lot of bad innings, bad games. My biggest takeaway, Wheels, watching it seems like they always do adjust. The other teams have stopped throwing so many fastballs, slowed the balls down, and we're swinging and missing at them.
Yeah, and Castellanos is not.
Right, right.
Go
And
figure.
Bone.
It just shows you how this game will wear you out, won't it? Because Nick was the guy that what you were talking about, Bill, would be the guy that would chase everything, and now he's pretty disciplined. Now, God forbid I say this, and tonight, Max Fried will throw him all those breaking balls, and he'll be chasing him in the dirt all night, even though he's a left-hander. Yeah, look, we talked about it so many times. First of all, it's a really hard game to play. It just is, and nowadays it's so much harder to hit because there's so many more guys with good stuff and throw hard, and they have so many analytics where they can figure you out and get into areas where you just don't hit. But look, we're not going to win if our big boys don't hit. And Schwarber's in a funk right now. Harper's in a little bit of one. Turner hit 4 balls hard last night, even though he took an 0 for 4. He hit it right on the nose last night. But if those guys don't pick it up, You got problems. I mean, Bohm is a terrific, but Bohm will knock in a ton of runs if they can get them on in front of him because he makes contact. And I've never thought I'd sit here and talk to you about Castellanos making contact. Real Muto's starting to show some signs of playing. And Merrifield gets a double and a triple last night. Oh, I could get rid of him. Well, everybody wanted to get rid of him. Don't give me that.
Right.
And I know you guys did too. So
Yeah.
let's see how he does the rest of the way. But look, Marsh has been streaky, and then everybody wants to point to Rojas. Says, "How can you have Well, Rojas is fine if the other guys do what they're supposed to do
Yeah.
because he's improved a little bit, and he's a guy who run the ball down in the outfield. But if all these other guys don't start, what's with his back? He drops his backside a lot now, and they work and work and work and try to make things work. That was a big league hitter and a good big league hitter and a good two-strike hitter. And right now he has that look in his eyes that I've seen a lot of guys get. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned the three guys at the top of the lineup: Schwarber, Turner, and Harper. A combined 0 for 12 last night with, I think, 7 strikeouts. Harper hasn't looked great. He hasn't looked right for a few weeks to me. Is it possible he's nursing some sort of an injury that we don't know about?
I don't know because they put the lineup out late last night.
Yeah.
And usually that means that somebody's banged up a little bit and they want to see if they can
Yep.
run them out there. I haven't seen tonight's lineup, so that could be. Although there's a left-hander tonight in Freeze, so that could make some changes
Yeah.
anyway.
Stott and Marsh are out. Wilson's in. Sosa's in.
And Sosa, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So Harper's playing,
Yeah.
Yes.
and Real Muto's playing.
Yes.
So, right there makes you think, all right, they're okay. Harper looked like he had really found himself for a while there. His base looked really good. He looked like he was hitting the ball all over the place. And then all of a sudden, he's gone into a little funk over the weekend a little bit. And then last night, hey, that guy last night was good for coming
Yeah.
still call it the DL. What do
Yeah.
they call it? Injured reserve now. He was good last night. He was throwing hard. He had a great breaking ball, but to strike out that many, you said 7 strikeouts, and that was with 2 guys, even though you're talking about the 3 of them, because Turner
Yeah.
didn't strike out last night.
Right.
So it was 4 and 3.
Yeah. 10 in 5 innings.
Yes, in 5 innings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing and then 17 up and 17 down at the end.
Yeah.
And say, why
But-
didn't you win? Well, nothing happened.
Right. He didn't do anything to win. Yeah. Well, the other thing I find interesting, looking back at the whole season, obviously there's nothing like winning to put a little swagger in you. But this team with the whole shimmy and all that kind of stuff they had going on, there's no shimmy going on now. There's it looks like a kind of a defeated team, and I guess that comes with not winning.
And you never look good when you're making right turns down to first base too.
Right.
And
Right.
they're dragging the bat back to the dugout, so you're not going to be doing a whole lot of shimmying if you're making right turns down there. So, I think they're still fine that way. From what I understand, they're a good bunch. They like each other. They don't get on. They don't backbite in there. And fight like that and those kind of things. First of all, teams don't do that anymore anyway. Everybody's best friend. But I've heard that they're okay with that. So look, they start going double, double, double. You see 3 shimmies at second base. I think that's what it comes down to. It's hard to watch right now. They built up this big, big, big 30 game over 500 advantage so that you could go into the funk they're in right now. But there comes a point they got to stop because they got to play Houston next week here. They got to play the Braves 4 more here, and they got to go to Kansas City. And Bobby Witt's maybe the best player in the game right now.
Yeah.
So they got to figure something out.
Hey, Wheels, did you ever shimmy?
No, they asked me about that when I did that inning the other night, and
Oh, really?
I said I might blow a rib cage or something, or a hammy. I guess I could do that back in the old days when I drank a little bit, but not now.
Hey, let me put up the standings right here. You see the division leaders, the Dodgers now ahead of the Phillies. The Brewers and the Phils are tied the same record. I believe the Phils actually have the tiebreaker against Milwaukee because they swept them. But, San Diego and Arizona right on their tails as well. They're in danger of falling down to the 3rd seed. And, of course, the top 2 division winners get the first round bye. But if you're in that number 3 spot, you got to play the number 6 team, which would be the 3rd wild card team, which in this case would be the Braves. I know it worked out for the Phillies the last 2 seasons, but ideally you want to, have a first round bye, do you not?
Sure, and the Phillies have the tiebreaker with the Dodgers too.
Yes, they do.
So Yes, I look. The Braves will tell you maybe you don't want to have the off time the last couple of years because they came in and we Phillies knocked them off. I can't answer that question. What's better? What's better is that you're hot at the right time, and if you go into a funk at the wrong time, like they did last year against Arizona at the end, um, then you're going to lose. And Arizona is very hot right now. Corbin Carroll's starting to hit home runs. They have a really, really good team, and they showed that to the Phillies when they went out there and beat them 3 out of 4 in the desert. So yeah, there. I with this seeding whole thing, Chet. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Ideally, you would think, yeah, the best thing you can do is have them 3, 4, 5 days off and set your pitching up the way you want and all that. But the Phillies have shown over the last 2 years didn't matter.
Yep.
So I don't know. You just have to be playing well at the right time.
Wills, I'm a firm believer that players have to make plays, no matter what sport you're in. But I'm also a firm believer in the old Andy Reid saying is you need to put your players in positions to be successful. What do you make of some of the recent Rob Thompson decisions to help make this team successful?
Well, first of all, I'm very fond of him personally. So, and I'm not in everybody that I know in that clubhouse and the broadcasters and in front of rave about. Everybody likes him. All the players like him. Everybody that does what you guys are doing right now or is a fan knows more than the manager, and we all know this, and it's one of the great charms of the game. I don't know that you can second guess any well you go football and you're yelling some guy's holding and then you go out in the parking lot and you can't find your car, right? Those kind of things. So there's nothing like baseball to second guess, and the guy you second guess is the manager. Now, his thinking was very sound, in my opinion, over the weekend to give guys a day or two. But when you come back flat like they did on Tuesday night, then it doesn't look so great. So, look, Larry Bow and I are still very close and he just absolutely loves Rob Thompson and the way he handles the clubhouse, the way he handles the players, the way he handles the media, and the way he handles the fans. There's always going to be situations in a baseball game that people are going to second guess because as I said, it's the game that we all think we know more than the people that are running it. And I think it's one of the great charms of baseball is that you're able to do that because it's played by normal sized human beings. And a manager has so many decisions that he has to make that we look. I live with them for so many years, and I know what they go through in that chair, and when they can't say something about somebody, and when they have to do something for a reason. So I like Rob Thompson a lot. I think he's the right man for this situation, and obviously, if he is going to manage games in the city of Philadelphia, he is going to be open to second guessing, and you know how he handles it? Pretty well.